last week kakali ndisuke nje sike wadubuleka nje ekhaya because akukho mntu kwathi
waqala athetha uba uzokwenza question paper ngizolwa ndim basiplayer ngoku.
but akhange libize igama lakho.
Introduce yourself.
On the left, so
I'm why must I stand?
on the
But,
left.
actually it's the right that starts. Remember? The right.
Say the left. Greetings, it's me, Sbashim Namateli. Nice to meet you all. Yeah, nice to meet you all. Okay, well, I'm Bazule Thousand, and this is. Okay, thanks. We're going to do a math question paper, which is a second question. The first video was done on 3 days ago.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be taking over from here. I'm so glad that this is such a good opportunity. So like, I'm really happy.
Thank you. Also happy.
Okay. I'm
So
gonna need a marker.
alingene ubazolele ube ngusibahle nawe.
Oh, I'm Namateli.
Yeah.
Namateli.
Unamathela. Hawu. Thina besizenzela nje question paper lethu unolwazi then phithi kwathi gqila ama-2000 afuna utake over. So yeah, last week as betshilo nayo uba we did question 1. Yeah. So ngoku bathi bazofuna all continuation ngokwabo from question 2 up until andazophela kubani.
Well, I think
Question 4 kwakunake ixesha.
Yeah.
Kwakunake ixesha yabo. So andazi bavote njani but somehow ubazolele will take over the question 2.
Last born.
last point.
Last
Last point.
Last born actually.
First point.
No.
Yeah, I think ungaqala because ayikho into ezokwenza. I've got drum roll. I've got drum roll. But yeah, question 2 as well for it.
Okay, so in the first question here, which is 2.1, we're required to simplify this expression. It's a pretty neat expression, I must say. So let me just begin.
Yeah.
So we're given 2 to the power x minus 3.
Well, kufuneka adjust ngokwakhe imali ayibonakali so kufuneka uyihlise. Yeah, then ube ngathi ubhalana kakhulu iphi duster yethu.
Yeah, last point.
Duster so kufuneka ube ngathi ubhala kakhulu but I think iyabonakala kodwa
Used minus 3 times 2 to the power x plus 1, all divided by 2 to the power x minus 2. As you can see in a numerator we have a binomial. So every time we're given a binomial in some sort of simplifying question, we are required to find the common factor. So what you're going to do here, you're going to say 2 to the power x, and you're going to simplify this by saying times 2 to the power negative 3, or by just writing 2 to the power x divided by 2 to the power 3.
Yeah.
Then you subtract 3 times 2 to the power x times 2 to the power 1.
No one's schooling.
lethi nje iyarana le nto le akho.
Sorry for that delay. Gonna say over 2 to the power x times 2 to the power minus 2. As you can see here in our numerator, we have something that is common, which is 2x. So you're gonna take out the common factor, which is 2x. You're gonna put some brackets over there. We're gonna have 2 to the power minus 3 minus 2 3 multiplied by 2 to the power 1, or you can just write 2, which is the same thing, all over 2 to the power x times 2 to the power minus 2. And then you see that you have something common in the denominator and numerator, so you're just gonna cancel that out. You're gonna be left with 2 to the power minus 3.
Sorry, kufuneka ubani ujonga naphaa uba ingabe iyabonakala okanye kufuneka uyibuye phaa phezulu.
Oh yeah, sorry for that. Let me just
Kungadwa nje line then uqhubeke.
yeah.
Let me check something now.
Okay, so we're gonna have 2 to the power minus 3 minus, which is 3 multiplied by 2, we're going to have 6, all divided by 2 to the power negative 2. So this you can just punch in a calculator, which is, it'll give you 2 to the power minus 3 minus 6, which is going to give you negative 47 over 8, all divided by 2 to the power minus 2. And you can also punch that on a calculator, which is negative 47 over 8, okay, negative 47 over 8 divided by 2 to the power negative 2, and you're gonna have negative 47 over 2. That is all for this question.
Okay. It's pretty decent. It's pretty neat. And then, yeah.
Pretty decent. Njengoba igqibile ne. Kancinga like abanye abantu bayibhuda phi?
Well, to be honest, yeah, my opinion, I think about like most people by put up at the numerator, like they sometimes like forget to factorize here. They forget the factorization yabo, which makes this question tons more difficult than it actually should be. So what I'd advise now, which is you first simplify your exponents, like break them apart so that they are, you know, prime bases, and then you can just take out the common factor and then cancel stuff out, and then that's what I think, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, that's okay with you.
Then akakho i-minus plus sign. Funeka bayazi uba soloko common factor.
Oh, yeah.
Oko. Not the case.
And you know, like it takes practice because xa unonika like let's say omnye umntu nje le nto i-fresh kanje kuzawuba nzima uba ayazi uba kufuneka maybe let's say break it down like 2 to the power negative 3x to 2 to the power x times or 2 to the power negative 3, because it takes practice for uba recognize, because imaths ine-patterns ezininzi. Okay, yeah, I have a question too.
Okay, I'll just slightly erase here.
My God. English yakho is so perfect.
Nakhumsha ngokeli.
Swear about what's kumsha.
Point
2.2 velile most of the x. Okay, yeah.
2.1 is kind of visible, so 2.2.1. In this question, we are required to solve for x, and we're given x, but x kind of has an exponent which is a fraction and a negative fraction at that. So let's get to it. So it's 2 minus 16 x to the power minus 3 over 2, which is equal to 0. The first thing you're going to do with this kind of question, you must first isolate x so that such that x has a coefficient of value of 1. So you're going to have negative 16 x to the power negative 3 over 2 is equal to negative 2. And you're just going to divide by negative 16 both sides. After that, you're going to have x to the power negative 3 over 2, which is equal to, this is going to be, this negative sign is going to cancel that negative sign. 2 over 16 should give us 1 over 8. And then now we have x to a power of a fraction. So yeah, this can get kind of tricky, but it's easy to deal with this kind of questions once you get used to them. So what you're going to do, you're going to say x to the power negative 3 over 2. What you're going to do, you're going to raise x to the power negative 3 over 2 to the reciprocal of that exponent, which to such that x has an exponent of positive 1. So you're going to multiply by negative 2 over 3, which is going to do the same for this side. That's what we do in math. What you do on the left, you must also do on the right. Here you're going to have x to the power of 1. Here you're going to have 1 over 8 to the power negative 2 over 3. I hope this is visible. So you're going to have, you can change this 1 over 8 to 1 over 2 cubed, all to the power negative 2 over 3. And then you're gonna say x is equal to 2 to the power negative 3, all raised to the power negative 2 over 3. Then the negative is going to multiply negative, going to give us a positive. Then 3 is going to cancel with 3. Then we're going to be left with 2 to the power 2, which is simply 4.
X. Got X.
So yeah, X. So yeah, that's how you approach this kind of problem. I hope the below stuff is kind of visible. So yeah.
Let me check if it's visible.
nakhona lapho same thing abantu bayibhudaka khona nje into esebhizi ngayo.
Then we put the part.
Well, I think people like forget to, when they divide by a negative, that it changes to become a positive, or the fact that you need to raise this to the reciprocal, and you must be aware of your sign, because x, power by x must be positive 1.
By reciprocal, what do you mean?
For example, let me just make a light example. 1 over 2 is a fraction.
Yeah.
The reciprocal of this is just 2 over 1. You just flip the fraction.
Like in inverse of it.
Okay.
Yeah, what's this? It's a master.
This time ngiyangibona lena langikomba hey reciprocal ngoku funini.
They could find, but like you ask yourself, when's the guy number?
Yeah, but it's simple, you know, the question. You just need to practice. That's all methods.
And the types of questions is like the one that need laws of exponents. If I was asked,
Yeah, that's also a key aspect about the laws of exponent, because if you notice up, I said 2 to the power minus 3,
Yes.
all raised to the power. When you're dealing with something raised to the power of something, you must actually multiply the exponents, not add them. Okay. The only case where you add the exponents is when you're multiplying two bases. And then if the bases are the same, then you're going to add the exponents.
Okay.
So yeah, let's move on to our next question. Well, it's not like it was liberal. It's like it's crucial a testing when ukabhala i-final exam. Like benzima, like yonke into vele iflasheke. So yeah.
Ilingaphumi kwale equation eparabola
Okay.
ingazubikwa uzobekwa kanti la.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Next question.
Next question.
Yeah.
I can scroll up. Yeah.
Yeah. So upperclay questions, 4 to the power x plus o money 8 is equal to 9 times 2 to the power x. Oh, this one is kind of tricky, but it's the approach. So first step here, we're gonna change into prime bases corner. So we're going to have upper o 2 to the power 2 all raised to the power x plus 2 to the power 3. And then here we're gonna have o 3 squared times 2 x corner. So this one is tricky now. So 2 to the power 2x plus 2 to the power 3 is equal to.
Forget to engage.
Oh yeah. I'm engaging. This one is kind of tricky. This.
If it happens, then nani ninga kunani funde napha i-chat now.
I just saw it.
Oh, isandovela like a staff oaks.
Yeah.
So ningamncedisa nani if it happens by trick, nini ideas.
So got any ideas of okay. I'll have to think outside the box a bit later. And go for marks. So
Simple Xmas.
okay. Oh, okay. It's just my friend here just gave me a very brilliant idea. So he was like suggesting the K method. The K method is just a method where you substitute K in the position of something so that you can achieve something like quicker.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, what if I can rewrite this 2 to the power x as equal to k.
Okay.
Then I will replace anything that is 2 to the power x in this equation so that I can achieve k. And this was like a really brilliant idea from my friend. Thanks, bud. So we're gonna have here we're gonna have 2 to the power x all squared plus 2 to the power 3 minus 9. Let's just rewrite that back to 9. 9 times 2 to the power x, which is equal to 0. I just transposed this for your information. So here we said we'd replace 2 to the power x with k. So if I replace 2 to the power x here with k, I'm gonna have k to the power 2 plus 8 minus 9 multiplied by k, which is equal to 0. You hear this? You see the step? We're finally going to something like that's a bit quadratic, so which is really kind of fun for people who like to like practice maths for like a living, something like that. So
Yeah,
we're gonna have k
people
squared.
no one likes practicing math.
Yes,
I know that. I just do it anyway. So you're gonna have minus 9k plus 8, which is equal to 0. In this step, like it's kind of some people like do a lot of mistakes here. Like it's kind of hard to find the factors. It's okay to like write brackets, try over and over again, or just use your calculator. It's fine.
Yeah, you can
So like I'm just gonna take you through it so that you can understand this a bit more better. I hope this is visible. So what you do in this step, you have a trinomial here. So you're gonna have 2 sets of brackets is equal to 0. You're gonna write your coefficient k, and then you're gonna look at your signs. Here we have a positive sign, here we have a negative. If the sign of the last term is positive, that means both of the signs of the brackets will be similar and it will be the same as the sign in the second term.
Yes.
So this sign is negative, so that means you're gonna have both negative signs.
Okay.
And then you're gonna go to 8. You're gonna look for factors of 8 in which that you add, that will give you minus 9. So you have 8, we have 8 has 4 factors, which is 1, 2, 4, and 8, which is 2 times 4 or 1 times 8. This 2 plus 4 won't give us 9, but 1 plus 8 is going to give us 9. So we're just going to write 1 here, going to write here 8. So you're just going to say k minus 1 is equal to 0, k is equal to 1, or k minus 8 is equal to 0 and k is equal to 8. That's how you solve these kind of questions.
Okay.
Just a shame that it's not clearly visible.
So we revert back to 2x.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
we're
that's
not
a
done.
crucial step. I almost forgot. We were solving for x, not for k. So we're gonna draw a line here. So we know that k is equal to 2x. We already wrote that.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, we're gonna replace k here with 2x, 2 to the power x. So 2 to the power x is equal to 1. That's for our first solution. And then in order for us to solve for x, our bases both need to be the same. So you're gonna say 2 to the power x is equal to 2 to the power 0. If you remember that, you learned in the lessons of exponent that any number raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So x is equal to 0. That's our first solution. Or 2 to the power x is equal to 8, where 2 to the power x is equal to, you rewrite 8 as a product of its prime basis, which is 2 to the power 3, which is x can be written as 3. Those are your solutions.
Okay. And then you punch them in the calculator, they actually give you the answer.
Yeah.
And then from this, just go to quadratic. But then this is, I would say, the better method to understand this, because if you're going to use quadratic most of the time and not do this actually by
Also
hand,
understand.
you won't understand
Yeah,
it.
things of meant to learn.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to the next question. If someone has a question, you can just place it in the comments. We'd love to know your reviews. Let's just keep going because I'm loving this moment.
There's a question. When will they, the person that is asking about, when will I know to use K method?
Oh man, that's gonna depend. For example, here we have 4 to the power x upper, and then upper we have 2 to the power x. So upper, you see that there's no other way in which you can solve for x. Like you can't take out the common factor upper and upper. So the best method to use is just you transpose this to this side and try to simplify this, and then you notice that this can be written as this to the power 2, which means like k method like you apply like if you have like for example you have 2 to the power x and we have 2 to the power 2x, then you apply k method. If the second like exponent there is twice the first, then you apply k method. Or if enye is the reciprocal of another, let's say if for example ibing 2x upper and then up is 1 over 2x, then about something like that, but I don't want to confuse you anymore. So you apply when 2x exponent no x in the same equation
Okay.
also over 4x, then you can apply k method yakho.
khona la mama siyixolo ndizifanayo because bakhona on some like iba ngu-1 over.
That's what I just said. Only reciprocal of something. Let's say mhlawumbe uno 2x upper omnye abe ngu-1 over 2x on the other side. So uyazi mos obviously xa uyiraise le izoba negative exponent and we don't want that. So we just replace this with k. If you replace this, then we know that it's gonna become quadratic.
Yes.
So if it's over quadratic, you're gonna have two values of x, so then it's just gonna solve. So the only situations where you use k method is when you have a reciprocal of something, or if any exponent there is twice the other.
Okay.
Those are the only situations where you can use the k method.
Yes. Similar question, it's similar to what we did last week.
Because nyani k method ingena kakhulu xa i-quadratic izoba involved. Yabo. So kuba into yoba when you substitute k kulo value leyo ingabe iza kunika la form le quadratic, which is like ax squared minus or plus bx then plus c, of which kule case ikwazi equal.
Like all specific by k man. What is it? X
Ewe.
one creative.
Just putting variable.
But okay, and is the most like simple because like I was it's so catchy. Hey,
But then ingaba niyayazi why kwasenza k? Yeah?
Volume is a bit down.
Yo, volume is a bit down. Imo shape ke ngoku. Bani khona lo msondlwana flip nako. Uzawutsho ke uba i-better ke msondlwana. Hopefully better. No, then ndizawuthi uba like ayinimanga ngomntu owayengu-k something like fumaniseke ukubana ligama lakhe alivele okanye kusuke nje kwathathwa nje any letter. So it could have been uc method or whatever. Check it ngoku okanye nje. Okay, yeah, qhubekekani ndizayichecka mna.
okay, we'll get back to you.
Hopefully everyone was listening.
Charge.
With the volume issue. So yeah. Hopefully they had.
Oh, ulwazi uzawusinika i-feedback ke uba i-volume injani.
Okay, then we're gonna move to 2.2.3. Here we have the square root, the x root to be quite sure. Yes, the x root is 9. It's not the square root. You can only say it's the square root when there's nothing there. There's nothing there. We don't actually write a 2 when it's the square root. But if it's another number, then we write it. So you have 243 on the side. So we have a square root here and x root here. So we're solving for x. So the first step you're going to take, you're just gonna write 9, and then you're gonna change this square root to become an exponent. We know that roots are sort of reciprocals of exponents. So this is gonna become 9 to the power 1 over x. Similarly to how the square root of something, let's say the square root of 9 is just 9 to the power 1 over 2.
Okay.
So yeah, it's simple like that. So we're gonna move to this side. We're gonna write 243, and then we're gonna change both 9 and 243 to become a product of their prime bases. So it's gonna give us 3 squared 1 over x is equal to
3 to the power 5.
3 to the power 5. And if you want to know how this is done, you just write 243 on your calculator and press is equal to, and then you say shift fact. Let me just shift. Oh, it's not that visible. So what you're going to do, you're just gonna, in your calculator, you're just gonna press 243 is equal to, then you're gonna press shift, then you're gonna press fact, and it should show you that 3 to the power 5 below. And then you're gonna have 3 to the power 2 over x, which is equal to 3 to the power 5, which is we have both same bases, so we just drop the exponents. You're gonna have 2 over x is equal to 5. You're gonna have 2 is equal to this times that is gonna be 5x, which is cross multiplied here. This times this times that. Then we're gonna divide by 5 both sides. Then x is gonna be equal to 2 over 5. That's your solution for that kind of question.
Okay.
I'm cutting them. Second.
So for someone who is not familiar with these kind of questions, why would you, okay, what would encourage you in your to be able to change this to this?
Well, first of all, we have the extra root. So there's no way we can actually solve for this unless we are like taking different measures. For example, like there's another method you could have used, which is you could have like raised both these sides to the power of x, where you would have lost this root, but this would then be raised to the power x. Then you're gonna have this was actually gonna change, where you're gonna have 3 to the power 5 multiplied by x, where you're gonna have 3 squared is equal to 3 to the power 5x, where you're going to divide by 5 both sides to achieve 2 over 5. So it's kind of the same. So it just differs the approach of the approach.
Of which I think this one is a more, I would say, reliable, because the other one would confuse a lot of people.
Mike, before we continue kakhulu, just to check abanye abantu who are live, ngabe audio problem ikulwazi only, ikumsondwanal only, or sive and magazazi niyayiva?
Mhlasenye abantu bebhala baba under pressure.
Yeah. Because somebody else would have just, in this case, would have just put in and say squared both sides,
Yeah.
and then that would lose.
Ngizolamba ku x under pressure. Under pressure to kuphela ngamizolo. Don't confirm that. Yeah,
It's out the other phone, like,
but it's my team. That's my team. That's my team.
it's my team.
So it's my team. Don't mess with my team.
What happened though?
We had a match last 3 Liverpool zone. So like, I'm kind of depressed over this.
Okay, we'll see. You can hear us, all right. Then all go this side. I can. Then Sondwanal issue might be on your side. Yeah, just check with Galala.
because like literally there was no see,
So it gives it a room.
and then their first win is
Second
the
win.
almighty
Second
Real Madrid.
actually won their prime match before Barcelona. My winning prime match actually.
In Europe.
Best team in Europe.
Best team in Europe. I have over 5 Champions League. So
Well, technically, Crystal Palace is better than you. They've beat this team 3 times already this season.
well, technically that would mean that Liverpool is better than Barcelona because I beat Barcelona.
After how many games? After how many losses?
That was the season stuff. So
Thank you.
let's not get into it. Let's not get into it.
Your team 4 times.
The channel up no analyzer.
I'm gonna crush your team 4 times that season, winning 3 trophies in his face.
Okay, the season before that, I literally crushed you 3 times in a row.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
3 times, 3 times.
3 times. Then in our past 8 matches, 4 wins, you have 4 wins.
Maybe the S25 dating I cash you're in like. We are cool. The still is fine there, look. I'll take the S25 cash, that's fine. So that's still was taking my cafe.
Also, I can see the 4th step effect. Okay. Step and really raised.
Okay, let
They
me just,
erase you.
let me just rewrite like.
Okay,
So
the 4th step.
I can only assume like you are in this step where you said 3 to the power 2 over x. Let me just paste this. Is equal to 3 to the power 5. You're gonna have 2 to the power 2 over x is equal to 5. Where you're gonna cross multiply to achieve 5x is equal to 2 divided by 5 divide by 5 both sides. X is equal to 2 over 5. I can only assume like this was probably one of those steps. So yeah, hope it helped.
Which is a phonetic marriage we have. Even question value 2.23.
Yes, so we're gonna go to 2.3, which is a major simplification.
It's kind of simplified.
But you can actually see like it's a square root, like a lot of problems.
Pop.
What's like when you're school?
Okay.
Let me just erase it. Hey, let's move on. So, up in here in 2.3, we're given the square root of p squared minus q squared multiplied by the p plus q.
Steve Tini just reminded me that okay iPhone 17
1 terabyte cache.
1 terabyte cache. Yeah.
Let's not get into it.
Funda wrong kanye wenzeka ntoni?
That's what I was trying to do myself.
That okay iPhone 17 1 terabyte cache.
Not going into it.
I am lost.
Hey, let me
Let
just continue to explain. Okay, so here it's written like when you go instruction way, t cannot be equal to q. So yeah, let's just move. And I'll upgrade to the S26. No.
Hey, maths. Break a great.
Okay, so here we can see up under e square root set we have two terms which is both squared, and below we have something of p minus q to the power of a half. That should actually click something like you see a square root and you have two square terms under the square root with a negative sign in between them. Difference of two squares. Simple as that. So you're just gonna write the square root of, when you're dealing with the difference of two squares, you're gonna write two sets of brackets under the square root, which is gonna be p minus q, p plus q.
But funeka uyenze comment uthi bayacaca abantu anothi
On TikTok.
asikho nyhani kanti TikTok. Asixolela. Asixolele.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, so times p plus q all raised to the power 5 over 2 all over p minus q all raised to the power of a half. I'm running out of space.
Okay.
So here we're gonna have p minus q raised to the power a half, because you have the square root on both terms. If both terms are multiplying, then you can take the square root for each term individually,
Okay.
which is can be written as 1 over 2. We already went through that when we were dealing with the roots. So we're gonna have into p plus q all to the power 1 over 2 times p plus q all to the power 5 over 2 all over p minus q all to the power 1 over 2.
Okay.
These are the same, and this is entirely multiplication, which means this is just a single term on top, so you can just cancel this and that. But I'm lacking this space.
No, it is. First step and clear of these steps. Then
So I just hope you won't mind me clearing the above steps, because like we're out of the space. So let me just clear this. Jeez, I'm highly sorry about that. Writing Yamingulu, I know that too. I just want to be visible. So let me just write this, something like this. We move to this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have upper since this cancels this, we have nothing below, so we have op plus q to the power 1 over 2 times p plus q all to the power 5 over 2. And we have the same base and the multiplier. So what we're going to do is just going to add exponents z2, which is going to have p plus q all to the power 1 over 2 plus 5 over 2, which is just going to give you p plus q all to the power. You can just punch that with calculator yako, and we're going to have 6 over 2, which is 3. Simple as that.
My God.
Just hope like bekhona like izinto apha, because like ngibhale kakhulu. I highly apologize for that. So okay. So vani comments if like code is step enisimileyo apha. And in my opinion, like into abayibhuda kakhulu abantu abaninzi is other type of questions ezinje, you are not required to solve here, you're just simplifying. So we don't actually require values that p and q in the end. We just need the simplest form of p and q, which is that bracket all cubed.
Unabantu bavele boyike le way boyingakanani le question root. Abantu boyika laa root abantu.
Well, we thought that you would not be able to see, the fact that the camera is slightly a bit dimmer when you go down. So yeah, but we'll be mindful now of the board.
Yes. And thanks for your support, like I really appreciate it. So I think we're gonna move into question 3 and go like someone else is gonna take over. So yeah,
you can continue. No.
Wow.
let's just like yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Sometimes we stay in the stage part, okay?
Can you just change seats? Question 3.
The 9 block the board for inviting. Hey, we present true nje. Actually, one, two. Difference of 2 squares. Bazazi gonna be difference of 2 squares. Balibele kungcola nge-iPhone, not TikTok. Imali. So ngoku it's question 2.
3.
Question 3.
Yep. Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number patterns game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did the question.
What?
This is a question.
I think so.
P. Oh yeah.
Can you push on that?
Oh.
It's cool. They can. So yeah, guys, now we're gonna move into question 3. Before I start, I'll try to raise my voice because yeah, I have a voice problem.
But I'm sure bazakuxelela uba abakuva now.
Yeah. So apha 3.1 ne, we're given a linear number pattern. Let me first write it. So we're given this, so it's 7. Was it 2? Oh yeah, it's 2 and then negative 3. Yeah, and then yeah, it continues. So in this case, do we get formulas for these? It depends, but not really most of the time.
Well, if you're doing grade 11, you will not be given formulas for this. But if you're currently doing grade 12, yeah, you'll be given all the formulas that you need. So yeah.
Unfair.
Yeah,
But at least like back trainer for you in future.
Yeah.
Because like formulas was banned for this.
So yeah, in this case, we are doing a linear number pattern, so which means we only have a first difference now. Unlike we quadratic, so we're gonna have a first difference. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go try to find the first difference here before we get into equations. That's what I usually do, because it's gonna be required obviously when we want to find the general term. So yeah, I'm gonna say the second term. How do you get this? You just say the second term minus the first term, obviously. So we're gonna say 2 minus 7, which is gonna give us -5.
But then some part of me feels like grade 11 should be given formulas.
But that depends.
Why?
Because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's really a lot.
Libala le different formula. Fika pha akwazi ukubheka.
And yeah, yes, you do the same thing. Then in here you're gonna say -3 minus 2, which is gonna give us -5, because they're both negative, so we're just gonna add them. So yeah, we've found our first difference, so we don't really need to go further. So yeah, first question, 3.1.1 says that determine the general term for OTN of the linear number pattern. So what we're gonna do now, we want the general term, then. So I usually use this formula, which says Tn is equal to Pn plus C. I like using this formula when I'm calculating this. So first of all, our Pn is going to be equal to to first differentiate. OP is always the first difference. So yeah, OP is going to be equal to -5 in this case. So it's going to be say, oh yeah, first of all, before we find this, we're just going to do it step by step. So Tn is equal to -5n plus C. Now, in this formula, we don't have OC. First of all, we'll find OC. So which means we're gonna replace, let's say we're gonna take the first term here, and then first term here we're gonna replace it like Tn, which is the first term. So 7 is equal to -5. Now in the n, we're putting the number of the term because it's the first term, so we're gonna put it what? We're gonna put 1 plus C.
No, put it like that, yeah.
7,
I usually think of that.
and then -5 multiplied by 1. I think multiplied by 1 is gonna remain the same.
Yes.
So it's -5 plus C. Yeah? Hopefully this appears. Does it appear?
Yeah, I think this was a
Yeah. So yeah, after that we have 7 is equal to -5 plus C. Then we want to see the side, so we're gonna transpose that 5 that side. And then we're gonna have OC. So it's when it's transpose the side, then it's gonna change the sign. So it's gonna be 7. Now it was negative that side, so it's gonna be plus now. Plus 5. And then you can just punch this calculator. And then this is gonna give us C. Therefore C2 is equal to it's 12. Yeah? It's 12. Now we have found OC. Therefore the two equation find its general formula. So we're gonna just punch it all together now. Or write it actually, I just thought of calculator. But I write it all together. So Tn is equal to -5n plus 12. Whenever I'm writing this, I'm writing each general term or formula. I usually just think of formula. When you're so temp, you must find formula or
straight line.
or straight lines.
Yes.
I just think of it. I just think of functions.
It's sort of similar. Like,
Yes.
sort of similar. If you like grasp small basis functions, then it should be easier because like we're dealing with the same thing.
You see?
Linear number pattern, you just use the formula for straight line. Quadratic, it's the same as the parabola. So yeah, same thing.
I just think of it. And then yeah, that was it for the first question.